Facebook family, before I forget, let me tell y'all this story, right? So last week I went to the Blue Note for the little jazz joint, and it was Lori Williams, Hamptonian, big shout out Old Fioga, Willie Bradley, South Carolina State, March 101, go Bulldogs. The bass player's name was Rashawn Odell, totally ridiculous dude on his own energy. Carl Johnson was the percussionist's name, and the local artist was the lovely and charming and incomparable Rhea Davis. Great voice. If you ever hear on the island, please go see Rhea. So had a wonderful time, saw my peeps. All the Hamptonians came out. Had a great time. You know, we had to support Willie Bradley's The Bruz. So the Bruz rep, great time. So on my way home, I take the H1, I get off on Licky Licky Highway, and by halfway down to Licky Licky, I start seeing all these police lights. I'm looking like, oh man, must be an accident or something, right? And so I see an officer in an orange vest, and he's like waving, but then it's like, oh, he's waving at me. And so he like waves me over, right? So I'm slow down, I'm getting closer, and then it's like, oh, the officer's waving at me, right? So I pull over and roll down the window, and the officer like shines the light in the car. It's like, good evening, sir. This is Officer Fa'ala from the Honolulu Police Department, and this is a mandatory field sobriety checkpoint. Side note, for my local mainland friends, when you come to Hawaii, they use a lot of vowels out here. Everything got a bunch of vowels, like 4 or 5 vowels in a row, and you gotta look for the apostrophe so you know where to cut it off and take the breath and keep going. So when you see people's names, it's either gonna probably start with an F or a K and be a whole bunch of vowels and apostrophe and then some more vowels. So when you see the policeman, they gonna have the badge on one side, and then when you look at their name tag about this long right here with all them damn vowels. So I was like, what's up, officer? And he was like, sir, where you headed? K-Bay, where the players play. And he was like, you had anything to drink? I was like, yes, officer, I have. And he was like, well, how many? Of course, y'all know from prior experiences, my standard answer is 2. So I had 2 drinks. And so he was like, okay, and where you coming from? I was like, Waikiki. Where was you drinking at? And I said, officer, I was at the Blue Note. And he said, the Blue Note, the jazz club? I was like, yeah. And I'm thinking he was gonna ask me for my paperwork. The officer looked at me, looked at his partner, was like, hey sir, you free to go, have a nice evening. And I was like, what? Dude ain't asked me for no driver's license, no insurance, no registration, no nothing. I told him I was coming from the Blue Note, and he was like, drive safe, have a good evening. Blue Note! Y'all gotta do something about y'all drinks, man. This is embarrassing. Honolulu Police Department has no respect for y'all bar and beverage game. Dude ain't asked me nothing. He was like, oh, you leaving the Blue Note? He was looking at me like, what you doing drinking down there? You a tourist? Funny. He didn't ask me nothing. I rolled up the window, stepped on the gas, and came on home. Come on, y'all. We gotta do better, man. Do better, Blue Note.